Embarrassing, humiliating, boring, predictable. Just 4 words. 4 words just to sum up Liverpool last night in a defeat to Wolverhampton Wanderers. Bottom of the table. They're on cloud nine right now. Deservedly so. Deservedly so. We again did not deserve anything from last night's game. Wolves fully deserved the victory, fully deserved the win. And I ask the question now of everybody that was moaning when people like myself and other people weren't exactly too pleased with the performance of the victory over Nottingham Forest, the victory over West Ham, those performances in particular in recent weeks. I ask each and every single one of you that was moaning at people that were annoyed about those performances, where are you now? Because there was a reason why people like me were annoyed at those performances. There were a reason why we weren't exactly too pleased about those performances. Happy for the result, yes. But we could see this result eventually coming from a mile away. And it stung us really, really bad last night. This ain't going to be pretty. This ain't going to be anything other than an annoyance, a rant. And of course, there's only one place to do it, and that's here. Big up to each and every single one of you that's here on this Wednesday morning. Do me a massive favor, people. Slap a like on the video and also subscribe if you are new. Both things will always and forever be greatly appreciated. Thank you for the love and support that the channel has been receiving. I cannot thank you all enough for all of that and everything more that you do. You guys are absolutely awesome. And of course, as always with videos and live streams like this, get involved in the chat. Would love to hear from you, even if you're just stopping by to say hi, even if you're talking to me about anything to do with your own lives, what you're up to today, what you've been doing these past few days, whatever the case may be. Love to hear it. And of course, love to hear about your footballing takes, your footballing opinions as well, whether it's about last night's game between Liverpool and Wolves or anything else that you guys want to talk about. Of course, all welcome in these videos and live streams. They are your shows as much as they are mine. We're obviously going to be mainly talking about Liverpool Wolves. That's the main bulk of today's video. Wolverhampton Wanderers 2, Liverpool 1. Back-to-back wins for Wolverhampton Wanderers as they are looking to perform an absolute miracle down at the bottom of the table by attempting to stay up. And you know what? After last night's performance, I really, really hope they do. I really, really hope they do, because Wolves, credit to them, they play some good stuff. They really, really do. And we should have seen this as a banana skin waiting to happen from a mile away. We really should have done. They've given some of the better teams in the league a run for their money. They played well against us in December. The only difference between last night and that night in December was that in December, Wolves were just not clinical in front of goal. Last night, Wolves found their clinical edge and they battered us in that sense. Because up until they scored, this game was not a classic by any stretch of the imagination. This game was not good. Wolves executed a game plan to absolute perfection last night. And despite all of what we have, we didn't do anything to change the game in our favor until the next 5 minutes after they scored. That was the only time we ever looked threatening. And guess what our main threat was? A 17-year-old kid who a lot of us, including myself, have been saying should be given more minutes, should be given more experience, and should be given more game time. And last night, Rio Engamoa once again proved why he has all the right in the world to be arguing his case, knocking on Arne Slot's door this morning and saying, you have to start me over Gakpo for the next however many games. Because it's not right. It's not right that our main attack comes from a 17-year-old kid. It's an absolute joke. Big up to Dean who's in the building. Big up to Dean who's in the building. He says, this chat this morning isn't going to be pretty. I'm sick to the core with this. We are a joke of a team, and my faith is wearing thin. And you are 100% right on everything that you say. This is not going to be a pretty chat. This is not going to be anything other than reality. And sometimes the truth hurts. But it's going to be a very truthful morning. Not just on my platform, but across many other Liverpool fans' platforms this morning. And if they're not telling the truth and they're not being genuine about the entire situation for what it is, then I genuinely don't know. I genuinely do not know. I want Salah and Gravenberch and Gakpo to go leave the club. They ain't good enough, and Slot can do one. I'm sick with the lot of them, is what Dean says. Clearly not happy this morning, and he's got every right to not be happy, people, because he's 100% right. I mean, there's a lot of issues right now. A lot of issues at this club. And these players in particular, I mean, these players in particular right now are in the mud. Very much in the mud right now, these players in particular that he's mentioned. There are others as well, don't get me wrong. There are others as well. But these ones are the ones that a lot of people are pointing the finger at this morning, and rightfully so. Well done to Wolves, they deserved it. Underdogs going into this game, but I think the underdogs are now Liverpool. We've been saying this for a while, haven't we, Dean? I said even before this game kicked off, I said in my predictions video, in the live stream that I did on Monday, I'm not deluded enough to think that this game is going to be straightforward and easy. I also said that I thought that the Tottenham game was going to be the easiest of the lot. And I was sat here questioning why I am thinking that the Tottenham game is going to be easier than a game against rock bottom of the table Wolves. And guess what? I was proven somewhat right. And I hate that I'm proven right on these types of things. I'd rather be proven wrong. I would be happy to be proven wrong about saying those things out loud. But the reality of the situation is, this is what Liverpool has become this year. This is what Liverpool has become this year. A team that not a lot of people, including myself and including the most diehard fans on any platform, anywhere you can find, are now going into every single game not confident that they can get a win over bottom of the table Wolves. Not entirely confident. We should be 99% confident, and we're here going, oh, we probably have like a 75% chance, a 20% chance of a draw, whatever. We should be mostly confident. No, nothing's ever a foregone conclusion, of course. But Jesus Christ, it is so bad right now. I think Wolves were dickers in the Cup 2 game on Friday. I mean, look, they've got the ultimate confidence boost ahead of that game. And I genuinely do not know what the hell is going to happen on Friday. But we could only have one. We by Saturday morning, we could be just putting all of our eggs in the Champions League basket, because that's the only competition that we may actually do well in terms of it plays more to our strengths. The strengths that obviously we could change. We changed for last season, but he wants to change back. He doesn't want to do all of the stuff that we did last year. He wants to change it all for his image, an image which clearly doesn't work. We have no identity. Oh, we do. It's just not a very good one. Our identity is we will be lackluster, boring, predictable for about 80 minutes, go a goal down, then we throw a bit more caution to the wind. We throw on a kid who basically ignores Slot's instructions and does whatever he wants, and it does that to great effect. And then we either get a draw or we lose it in injury time. That is the 7th game this season. We have dropped points in injury time. We have lost or dropped points in general in injury time. The 7th time this season. It's pathetic. It's absolutely pathetic. This is a real kick in the balls advantage. United, Villa, and Chelsea. Well, the only reason why it's not so much Villa and Chelsea advantage is because obviously they play each other tonight. So we kind of get a little bit of a handout there in terms of both of those teams playing each other. But again, are you confident going into... I was confident going into our next Premier League game against Spurs. I'm not necessarily going into that game completely confident now, because anything could happen with this team. Am I confident going into the games against like Brighton or anybody else for that matter? No, I'm not. Never have been, and probably for the rest of the season whilst this manager is here, probably never will be now. Our only saving grace is the fact that Chelsea and Villa play each other. That's it. United will beat Newcastle tonight. I'm backing that to happen. I think Chelsea and Villa will end in a draw. But if one of those two teams do win, and if you had to pick one to win or the other, you'd probably pick Chelsea to win. It's still going to be a complete train wreck. Big up Kinsman is in the building. Lovely to have you here, bro. How did we lose to Wolves? By being the same predictable Liverpool side that we've been moaning about for ages. This Liverpool side, it's not great. It's not great whatsoever. Look, we are the defending Premier League champions. We are 450 million deep in the summer. And you want to know the harsh reality of the situation? After all of that, the only way we look threatening on a football pitch is from set pieces and opposition making poor errors. And the 17-year-old Rio Engamoa. That is the only times that we look threatening. Reliance on a 17-year-old kid to go out there and do something out of the ordinary. Set pieces, which last night were woeful, by the way. Our set pieces last night were woeful. The one time we actually did own an all-right set piece, Cody Gakpo clears it off his own frigging line. We will get on to Cody Gakpo once again. Another stinker of a performance, which is going to be rewarded probably with a start on Friday night. But that chance he basically took off Curtis Jones's chest to make it 1-0 to Liverpool is absolutely abysmal. Absolutely abysmal. And you just know, by the way, that Slot sees that chance and he blames Jones for it. You just know he blames Jones for it. You know he's not going to blame his golden goose. You know he's not going to be blaming his potential illegitimate child. You just know. That miss was criminal. On the bright side, we will have our revenge in the cup, hopefully. You're more confident than I am, bro. Fair play to you. You are more confident than I am about Friday's performance. You're more confident than I am, and fair play. Morning, Tony. How you doing, bro? Hope you're good. Lovely to have you here with us. Says, morning, my man. Last night was no surprise for me. I was done with Slot months ago. Fans need to be more vocal at the ground and outside. Yeah, me and you both, bro. I was done with him after Manchester United. Like I say, when we lost to United, I was done then. And when he stayed on, he should have gone after Nottingham Forest, after PSV, take your pick. He definitely should have gone then. Instead, we are now in this situation where everything to our season is under threat. Everything to our season is under threat. Champions League, FA Cup, qualifying for next season's Champions League. It is unbelievable how quickly our season has took a massive nosedive. It's all good, bro. I hope you're doing well this morning, other than the fact that Liverpool have let us down yet again. We could have gotten a 2-2 draw, but Gakpo just had to ruin it. Curtis almost scored for the moment when the ball was going to him. Yeah, took it right off his chest. Took it right off his chest. I don't know what he's thinking, bruv, to be honest. Kirkes misjudges it because it comes off the crossbar, obviously. But he shouldn't need to have misjudged it in the first place because Curtis Jones should be putting that in the back of the net, but hasn't because Gakpo's decided to take it right off his chest. Like it's a well-worked corner. It's a great flick on from Ekatike. And all Jones has to do is just put the ball into the back of the net, bundle it in by any means necessary, as long as it doesn't come off his arm. And Gakpo just decides to just interfere, as he usually does. I'm done. I'm done with the guy. You could see the red flags in the Nottingham Forest match with being this vulnerable. Unstable and vulnerable. Yeah. Bro, did I not say that even though we beat Forest, the warning signs were there? Even though we beat West Ham 5-2, the warning signs were there. Did we not say that? Like, in my match reaction to West Ham the other day, I had people in the comments be like, what is wrong with you? Why are you not being positive? This is why I can't be positive. I can be positive about the result. I can be positive about the 3 points. But if you're not seeing the bigger picture, and if you're not worried or at least concerned by the bigger picture that Liverpool are going to be going through a rough patch in the very, very near future. Granted, it's probably happened a lot nearer than what I thought it would. But if you can't see that, you're beyond all help. You're beyond all help because, as I mentioned, this has been going on all season. This has been going on all season. We are now at the beginning of March. We're at the beginning of March, several months after the transfer window, and we still are not playing consistently good enough. We are not playing a style of play that is good enough, that is stable, that is sustainable, that is legitimate. We've not got anything like that. There's nothing there to suggest that this Liverpool team are improving, getting any better, understanding each other. We have flashes, we have glimpses, but like I say, there's nothing consistent. There's nothing there that's reliable. And yet, when we get victories and wins, yeah, they are great to celebrate the 3 points, but you can't be critical of it. God forbid, for some fans, you can't be critical of it. When we went through that run that around about December, January time, where we were unbeaten, how many people basically said we were being negative when we were calling out the poor performances? Fast forward to March, nothing's improved. Nothing has improved. It's a joke. An absolute joke. Big up, bro. Hope you're doing well. Lovely to have you here with us. I lost my bet. I imagine a lot of people probably lost their bets last night, unless you had the guts to go for Wolves. I imagine a lot of people did. I certainly would have been one of them people if I had a bet last night. Stop myself. Rightfully so. Big up Alpha's in the building. Lovely to have you here, bro. Did I not tell you to believe in the Great Escape? You did, to be fair. And like I said, I hope that Wolves do it. After last night especially, I hope that those 3 points are taken well for Wolves. I mean, they're only 3 points now behind Burnley. Obviously, Burnley do have a game in hand. Obviously, they'll play tonight. But... Oh, no, not tonight, is it? No. Did they play last night? I can't remember if they played. I think they played. Yeah, they lost to Everton, didn't they? Yeah, they're only 3 points behind Burnley. They are 9 points behind West Ham and I think 12 points behind Nottingham Forest, who are just outside the relegation zone. So, yeah, there's a lot to play for there for Wolves. Obviously, they pretty much have to be perfect between now and the end of the season, but I don't, unless I'm mistaken, I don't necessarily think their run of games is actually that bad. I don't think their run of games is actually that bad. I think they've all got teams that are in and around them. So they've got Brentford next, then West Ham, then Leeds, then Tottenham, Sunderland, Brighton, Fulham, and they have got winnable fixtures right the way through across the board. Wolves could actually do it, you know. Wolves could actually, playing the way they did last night, playing the way that they did against Arsenal to an extent when they drew, and Man United when they drew, and other teams where they've played well, but maybe not quite got the rub of the green, the bit of luck that you kind of need in those kinds of games. They could actually do it. Wolves could actually do it. And you know what? I will be supporting them every step of the way to do it. Go and do it. Go and do it. And go and drag Nottingham Forest. And, you know, as much as I say that I think Tottenham will steer clear, go and drag Nottingham Forest and Tottenham down to the Championship. Go and do it. Fair play, big up to Wolves, absolutely deserved it. I'm so sorry for ranting, Fletch, but I'm so upset with this, but it does make me feel better for ranting. Mate, this is why we're here for. This is what we're here for. It's like therapy. Go for it. Absolutely go for it. This is, as long as obviously there's some substance behind your opinions, this is the place for it. Use that comment section and use it to great effect to rant and to rave and to say what you really feel. Like, obviously, we welcome diverse opinions. Maybe there's someone out there that's actually feeling positive about last night's game. I don't know. Maybe someone is thinking it's not all bad news about last night. Maybe there is. Other than rival fans, obviously. But maybe there is. Maybe there are people like that are out there still trying to be Mr. Positivity or Mrs. Positivity. Hey, fair enough. But tell me why. Go for it. Go for it in the comment section. Tell me what redeeming qualities Arne Slot has left in this situation. Because for me, he's only got one shot at saving the season, and that's winning the Champions League. That's his only shot left. He's down to one bullet in his gun, and that is the only shot he's got, and he's got to make it count. It's looking like Liverpool might lose to Galatasaray in the Champions League on Tuesday. Bro. Maybe. I mean, we lost to Galatasaray earlier on this season. It wouldn't surprise me if they were to do it again. If Galatasaray set up how Wolves did, there's a good chance that might actually happen. If they set up how Wolves set up last night, and if they take their chances when they come to them, because guess what? They're going to get chances. Yeah, they will. They will beat us. That miss causes everything. Oh, the miss cost us, by the way. Yeah, absolutely. Well, a lot of things cost us last night. A lot of things, like being just not having any intensity to our play, no penetration in our attack, nothing. We had nothing last night. We didn't create any good opportunities. Wolves played their way into the game as the game wore on. They looked threatening on the counter-attack. We did absolutely nothing. Salah was useless. Gakpo was useless. Gravenberch was somehow even worse than useless, if that's even possible. Gravenberch was awful last night. Szoboszlai is doing it all on his own in midfield. Like a one-man band in there. It was genuinely so terrible. It really, really was. It really, really was. I don't know, man. I really don't know. Liverpool are shite. Not exactly breaking news there, bro, but I understand where you're coming from. Big up to you on this Wednesday morning. Hope you're doing well. I do give credit for Slot winning the Prem last season. Doesn't matter. He inherited Klopp's team. Klopp only won it once too. Liverpool barely won it in the last 30 years. Props to Slot for winning the Prem. No one's denying that, bro. Big up to you, by the way, Marco. Hope you're doing well, my bro, on this Wednesday morning. Glad to have you here with us. No one's denying what happened last season. Last season was brilliant. But it's almost like that Arnie Slot went to Dubai and has been replaced by some sort of synthetic robot being that is just not as good as the other one, as the original. It's almost like he's been replaced by a doppelganger. And he's completely lost everything that made him great last season. He's doing all the wrong things. He's got too much loyalty to certain players who don't deserve it. Like I say, Gakpo. Like, there could be a possibility. There could be a possibility that maybe Gakpo does get dropped for Wolves on Friday in the FA Cup. There could be a slim possibility that might actually happen. But guess what? Against Galatasaray next week, he's going to be back in the team for it. He doesn't deserve it. He deserved to be dropped a long time ago. He had no problem dropping Salah the moment that his performances supposedly dropped earlier on in the season. He had no problem dropping Salah, but for whatever reason, he's got a problem in dropping Gakpo. Gravenberch has been running on fumes for the past several games. Good opportunity to drop him. No. Stays on. Plays 45 minutes, plays absolutely terrible, gets booked. He's got too much loyalty to players that don't necessarily deserve it right now. This Arne Slot has been replaced. Last year's Arne Slot has been replaced by this one who doesn't have a clue what he's either A, talking about, or B, doing on match days. He's got no idea. I do apologize if I'm butchering the name, but Young Grog. I'm pronouncing that name, bro. Big up to you. Thank you for being here. Really appreciate it, bro. Hope you're doing well. Says, I think Slot needs to go. You're 100% right, bro. I was saying, I was saying since Man United, and Man United happened about October, November. I was saying since Man United, he should have gone then. He definitely should have gone after Nottingham Forest. He definitely should have gone after PSV. And yet, we stuck with him. And it's almost now not even becoming a Slot problem. It's becoming a board problem for letting this go on for too long. Like I said, the players have to take some responsibility, 100%. The players have to take responsibility. No one is denying the players. Maybe some of these players, for one reason or another, have just fallen off. Maybe some of these players are just not playing for the manager no more. Maybe some of these players have down tools, and that's somewhat unprofessional in of itself, right? We understand that. But every single week, it's the same. We're coming on shows like this, shows that are across other platforms, other social media, other YouTube channels, and we're saying the same things over and over again. Liverpool are slow. Liverpool lack intensity. Liverpool are boring to watch. Our build-up play without Florian Wirtz through the middle is so predictable. I'm hoping and praying Florian Wirtz comes back soon. I'm hoping and praying that he comes back soon because we are awful otherwise. Once again last night, our build-up play is give the ball to Salah and Gakpo and hope. This manager's play and identity and style is relying on individual brilliance. If it isn't set pieces, if it isn't opposition mistakes, it's relying on individual brilliance. And it doesn't happen anymore because Salah fallen off. Seems like his body's betrayed him. He looks better than what he is. Gakpo, awful. Awful, 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 awful. We make too many individual errors. We make too many mistakes defensively or going forward. Our decision-making is off the charts embarrassingly bad. Everything about this team stinks right now. Well, I say everything. There are one or two bright lights in an otherwise very, very dark tunnel. But apart from that, everything stinks. Apart from the likes of Soboslai, apart from Ekatike, apart from maybe Jeremy Frimpong, everything stinks. And it's not getting any better. And the root cause is always the manager. Because as much as you can say, it's this player, it's that player, it all reverts back to the manager. All does. And at this point, it may not even be the manager anymore because we should have got rid of him a long time ago, as we previously mentioned. So whose fault is it? The board. Because the board let this go on for way too longer than it actually should have done. And that's gross negligence on the board's part because they should have got rid of him sooner. If I, from the outside looking in, and a lot of other people from the outside looking in, could see that this wasn't going to get any better for us, why couldn't they? Even with a Premier League title to his name. It still should have been done a long, long time ago. Marco says, call me crazy, but I rate Isak over Ekatike. Ekatike misses a lot of chances. The Isak I know from La Liga and Newcastle is just so clutch. That is why he cost 150 million too. Yeah, you may be right. I mean, that was the only thing that I basically said was the difference between Ekatike and Isak. There's so much of Ekatike's game that was so similar to Isak. But the one thing that I think was different is the finishing. Isak is one of the most clinical finishers in the game today. Ekatike can get there, but especially when it comes to heading the ball, he's not there. And that will come with experience. That will come with time. He's had a fantastic season so far. Debut season in the Premier League. He's been absolutely brilliant, Ekatike. I'm not knocking him one bit. And I do hope that when Isak does return, I would like to see Isak and Ekatike form a double act up front, or we play them both in some way, shape, or form. Ekatike, brilliant this season. Brilliant. There have been some off games from him. Yeah, cool. Every player goes through them games. Szoboszlai hasn't had a perfect record this season, but he's been very, very good. But yeah, I hope that when he does return, maybe we could play both. Slot can only make Liverpool's season special by winning the Champions League. Yep, 100%. It's the only thing that would save him at the end of the season. If he doesn't win that, he's out of here. Should have been out of here, like I say, a long time ago. I want Wolves to escape relegation just so that Tottenham get relegated instead. Fair enough. I think a lot of Arsenal fans would also share those thoughts. Do you think Slot should trust in Mamardashvili by playing him more since Alisson's time is about to be up? I've been saying for a while, Alisson's distribution has been so poor since he returned. So poor. I think the amount of hamstring injuries that he's picked up over the years has caught up with him so much. I think he's still an unbelievable goalkeeper, and I think that is proof in the way that he kept us in the game against Forest, he kept us in the game against West Ham. A lot of what happens with us not keeping clean sheets, 9 times out of 10, is not down to Alisson Becker. And there was nothing he could have done about the second goal in terms of when the shot came in. But his distribution initially, just to give it into the middle of the midfield to absolutely nobody, was poor. But his distribution, like I say, has been poor for a while. And that's been happening since he returned from his injury, his latest injury. That's happened since then. I don't know. I think it might just be that injuries have really caught up with him. But he doesn't, unless it's obviously a simple enough pass, his distribution, it's not the same anymore. And maybe it is about time that we started trusting in Mamardashvili, because he is going to be the successor to Alisson, I would imagine. So we probably should be bleeding him in slowly. I thought we would be bleeding him in slowly. I thought the idea is that Mamardashvili, by the end of this season, was going to solidify himself as our first choice goalkeeper. I thought that was going to be the plan. I thought the plan is that we will stay in the cups for as long as possible. Mamardashvili will get some minutes in the cups. He'll get some minutes when Alisson goes through his annual injury, which he did. And then I thought, right, from February onwards, it will either be Alisson stays in the Champions League, Mamardashvili for the Premier League, or vice versa. And we give him some more experience in the Premier League and some more game time as the season wears on. That's not happened. And that's why I'm a little bit concerned about what the goalkeeping situation may look like for next season. I don't think a goalkeeper like Mamardashvili is going to be content with staying on the bench and playing second fiddle again for another year. But I also don't think he's going to be happy, or Alisson would be happy doing the same. So, I don't know. Can Isak and Ekatike start together 4-4-2? Yeah, it could happen. I wouldn't also mind Ekatike playing left wing if he's not going to trust in Engamoa. Wouldn't mind Ekitike being left wing. At least Ekitike does something that no other winger seems to want to do or can do in our team, which is take a player on, other than Engamara, of course. Now Wolves are finished. They run out of games. They need more points than they already have in 30 games. They need to get it in 8 games now. Never. Also, other teams will pick up points. I mean, you could be right, but there's a lot of Tottenham fans out there that are suggesting that they're not going to win any game between now and the end of the season. There's a lot of West Ham fans that are maybe in the same boat as well. Forest fans are also struggling to find out where they get points. Like I say, out of all the teams in the bottom in the bottom 3, bottom 4, bottom 5 of the table, Wolves have probably got the easiest running. And if they play like they did yesterday, and if they play like they did against Arsenal and Man United, there's no doubt in my mind that they could possibly do it. And fair play to them if they do. That would be absolutely incredible. If they manage to do it. And like I say, I'm rooting for them all the way. I really, really am rooting for them all the way. But there's a long, long way to obviously getting there. So we shall see. Wolves are still the worst team in the Premier League. Liverpool just made them look good. No, I'm not buying that, bro. I'm not buying that. Like I say, Wolves were very good to pick up a point against Arsenal. They probably should have picked up another point against Arsenal. So unfortunate with obviously 2 own goals earlier on in the season. They were good value for their point against Manchester United as well. They were good value to beat Aston Villa. Let's not forget, only a few days ago, they beat Aston Villa. They're actually a decent side, Wolves. They just don't have enough about them in terms of being clinical, in terms of stopping stupid mistakes from being better than what they are. I think, obviously, statistically wise and obviously league position wise, yes, they are the worst team in the league. But to say that Liverpool made them look good, I think is a little bit disingenuous, especially when you look at their entire season. If you look at their entire season, the performances they put in, the points that they've got in certain games, I think you'll find Wolves are actually better, should be better value for what they are worth. Dean says, I hope Wolves do survive. Yeah, I'm saying. Big up Welsh lad Damo's in the building. Hope you're doing well. It says, keep crying, you rats. I appreciate the nice comment there, bro. No, like, it is what it is. Missing out on Gay was so costly. Who predicted that? Who predicted that? Oh, everybody did. Everybody did. Like I say, the complete contrast with Manchester City right now is that if Manchester City go on and win the league, a lot of people are going to be looking at the likes of Gahey and Semenyo as being complete game changers. And both of those players were right there for the taking for a club like Liverpool to improve their season. And we let them slip right the way through our fingers because rather than be proactive, we're reactive. As always, constantly, consistently, we never learn from our previous mistakes. That's just the way that we are. This was not a must-win for Liverpool. Top 5 is still on, especially with Villa looking weaker and weaker. Yeah, but I disagree. Every game is must-win. Every game is must-win between now and the end of the season. Our final 4 games are, I think it's Chelsea, United, Villa, and Brentford. Those are our final 4 games. 4 teams that are going to be going for European football next season. This was must win, bro. This was must win. Especially considering that We play before United and Chelsea this week, and Aston Villa, of course, because obviously Chelsea and Villa play each other. This was must win. This was must win. I disagree with you on this one. I really do think that this was must win. Not the end of the world, of course not. There's still a lot of football to be played. But at the end of the day, to put big pressure on United before they play Newcastle, to put big pressure on Chelsea and Villa for one of them to go out there and get a win. And then obviously when you look at what's to come, we've got Spurs upcoming next. We've got Brighton coming up soon. And then, like I say, the final 4 games of the season are at the very least the likes of Chelsea going after Champions League football, Man United going after Champions League football, Aston Villa going after Champions League football, and Brentford potentially in a race for some form of European football for next season. This was must win. Embarrassing as it is to lose the bottom of the table, must win. Must win. I hope I'm pronouncing his name right. I do apologize if not, but big up Mazin. I'm so sorry if I butchered that name. Names and my brain don't go hand in hand. I'm really, really sorry. I hope you're doing well, bro. Anyway, thank you for being here with us. What are the financial consequences of Liverpool missing out on the Champions League? I mean, I don't know fully. I don't know. I'm not obviously a financial expert, so I don't know fully the ins and outs of it. But I can't imagine they're too good. I can't imagine wages-wise it's too good. I can't imagine FFP-wise it's too good. And I can't imagine that it's going to look too good in terms of attracting a lot of top names. We will still attract top names, but I can't imagine that for at least one season we're going to be that attractive to a lot of other names that we may be looking for in the transfer window. Big up now, Malcolm is in the building. Everton fan, obviously. All right, lad, you cop out. You lost to Wolves, lad. They are heading to the 2nd division. Yep. Yeah, they are. I've got nothing to say to that other than the fact that you've not won a trophy in God knows how long. And you're Everton. So yeah, anything we can do to make a miserable life of an Evertonian that little bit brighter. Anything that we can do. It's just a bit of back and forth. Chill out. It's never good when your keeper is your best player, and that has been the case for Liverpool for a while. Yeah, Szoboszlai's been better, but that's why people. This is what I don't get why when people are like, "Oh, you got saved by your goalkeeper." What you mean? The goalkeeper that we paid to do that job? Alisson has kept us in big games. He's done some incredible things, big moments, including, of course, an incredible goal several years ago. But yeah, I it's a shame. It's a shame. I've just never known a goalkeeper to have so many hamstring injuries. It's unbelievable. And this guy always seems to get it around about the same time every year. He always seems to get it around about September, October, November time, somewhere in that region. It gets it every single year. I've never known a goalkeeper to get that kind of level of injury consistently and constantly every year. It's mad. It's so bizarre. Big up John who's in the building. Lovely to have you here, bro. Hope you're doing well. So embarrassing performance. Sick of it, mate. Honestly, sick of the anti-football from Slot and doesn't seem to know how to fix it. Absolute disaster. If we do get Champions League, if we done, I can't even speak. Absolute disaster if we don't get Champions League football next season. Oh, if we don't get Champions League football next season. Yeah, I mean, we've been saying it for a while, bro, on this channel that this guy has got no idea how to fix it. He looks so completely out of his depth. He's, like I say, he even for a period of time went through press conferences basically identifying and highlighting Liverpool's issues with how we, like we don't do well against low blocks. We don't do well against set pieces. All of this stuff. And basically turn around and went, I, as the head coach, don't know how to fix it. Like, you're the head coach. That's your job. That's what we're paying you for. We're not paying you to go to frigging Ibiza and Dubai and wherever. Obviously, can't go there now, but yeah. I'm just saying, like, we're not paying you to go on holiday every week. We're paying you to fix these issues. We're paying you to fix these problems. Like, come on, bro. What are you doing? You fixed them all last year. I praised you multiple times last year for thinking on the spot and fixing things in matches or in preparation for matches. It was very, very good. You were very, very good last season. And now it seems to have all gone to your head that there's nothing you can do that's wrong. And that's clearly not the case, because everything that could go wrong this year has gone wrong. And the moment we're at the FA Cup, which potentially could happen on Friday, and the moment we're at the Champions League, he's got nothing to fall back on. He's got nothing to fall back on. There's no more deflection. There's no more defending. There's no more hiding. He's done. He's done. How bad was Amorim? He should never get hired anywhere ever. Man United, complete 180-degree turn, never losing Carrick, like 8 wins out of 9, 1 draw. Day and night compared to Amorim. Amorim is so bad. That's what a new manager can do. Is it sustainable long term? I mean, we shall see with Man United. I still think it's one of those things where they have that new manager bounce for a good 6 months and then things kind of tail off a little bit. But we shall see. They always strike me as the kind of ticking time bomb waiting to happen kind of thing at United. But I don't know. Like say, there's a manager out there right now who is available, who is free to walk through the door at Liverpool at any moment. And again, we've just decided, nope, not happening. We're sticking with this guy. We are sticking with this guy. I still don't understand why. I'm still struggling to understand why. I don't get it. I really, really don't get it. Big old t-shirt, every single one of you that's already in the building this morning. Slap a like on the video. Subscribe if you're new. Both things will always and very greatly appreciated. Obviously, if you're a Liverpool fan, not the most pleasant of talks so far this morning, but I appreciate each and every single one of you being here. And of course, hit up the comment section as well. Got a lot to discuss in terms of this absolute nightmare of a display and the near future and what it may possibly hold. Big up, bro. Hope you're doing well. Lovely to have you here with us. Turns out I was right about everything. Yep. You and me both, bro. You and me both. This is my shocked Pikachu face. Virgil has to leave with Salah. I mean, it's typical, isn't it? The one... I on Monday, I praised Salah and Konate for much improved performances these past few weeks. I said, like, I know Liverpool weren't playing very well against West Ham, and I know Liverpool didn't play well against Forest, but at least Van Dijk and Konate actually have improved these past few weeks. And then last night, Van Dijk wasn't great. Typical fashion. Kanate was just as bad. Kanate, by the way, was just as bad for that. What are they doing for that first goal? What are they doing between them for that first goal? Breakdown in communication, like a horror show. Van Dijk also should have done better potentially with that header he had towards the end of the game. But at the same time, like absolute train wreck from start to finish. But yeah, this is the last dance for Salah. Salah's going in the summer. I'm pretty sure he's going to be going in the summer. And you know what? Fair play to the guy. He deserves whatever he deserves whatever he wants now. Like let the guy be. Let the guy be. Build him a statue. Name a street after him or whatever. Give him the key to the city. Whatever the guy wants, the guy deserves. But and the same for Virgil as well. But it is what it is. So again, there's no one in midfield. It's mad that our only midfielder is basically Szoboszlai. Like Alexis McAllister against João Gomez and Andre is a mismatch. Two athletic midfielders against him. Ryan Gravenberch, nowhere to be seen last night other than committing fouls. And Szoboszlai, like I say, the only one in midfield that's actually trying to do something. And yet, it's obviously not enough. And it's not going to be ever enough. It's appalling. It really, really is appalling. And our midfield gets ran through. And guess what? Our midfield got ran through against Nottingham Forest. And our midfield got ran through against West Ham. And I said that, and I was like, this is really concerning. If we're against a team that has got physical or athletic midfielders, we're cooked. We are done for. And no one, well, I wouldn't say no one, but a lot of people didn't want to hear it. A lot of people were saying I was being negative. I wasn't being positive enough. This is why I can't be positive enough, because stupid things like this happen. And then if I didn't call it out, you get called flip-flop, you get called this, you get called that, you get called the other. It's not good enough. It's really not good enough. Wolves has a chance. They certainly do. They have a 10-game run in them, but very unlikely. Considering, like I say, we're on game week 30. It's got to be an 8-game run, but I know what you mean. I'm just being stupid. I've got to try and make myself amused, because otherwise it ain't coming from my own football team. But yeah, I get what you mean. And we were going through their fixtures earlier, bro, and we were looking at who they've got coming up between now and the end of the season. And all of their games are relatively winnable. Maybe one or two you could obviously throw an exception to, but all of their games are somewhat winnable. It's not like they're facing Liverpools and, well, even then, they probably still beat us. It's not like they're facing Man Cities and Arsenals and Chelseas and Uniteds every week. They've got winnable games. They've got games against teams that are in that relegation battle. They've got teams that are just outside the relegation battle. So it's not like they've got some top teams coming up. They're all teams that are in and amongst it. So if they can do this against us, and if they can beat Villa on Friday the way that they did, if they can keep up their performances, we could be looking at one of the greatest escape moments and one of the best moments in general in Premier League history. It could genuinely be the case if that is to happen. Let's be fair, it was a really unlucky deflection, though the last Wolves goal unlucky. Yeah, it was. But Alisson's ball out in the middle of the midfield to no one was concerning. The way that everybody stood off Andre to allow him to run forward and have the shot in the first place is concerning. It's the same old situation because we've been there time and time again. You remember when Fulham scored the absolute worldie? When that, I can't remember which Fulham player it was now, but there was a Fulham player who scored an absolute worldie not so long ago, made it 2-2. We thought we'd won it in the injury time, only to lose it mere seconds later. It was the same situation. We just allowed him to have the ball, allowed him to venture forward a little bit with it, and then didn't close him down to have the shot. And it ended up being an absolute worldie, finding the back of the net, and Fulham rescue a point. Shouldn't have happened. And again, it shouldn't have happened last night either. Unfortunate, but sometimes you create your own luck. I've said that time and time again. Liverpool were lucky that our XG was less than West Ham's, but we were clinical. Liverpool were lucky that Nottingham Forest couldn't find the back of the net in their game, but we hung in there until the final stages of the game where magically we turned up for the final couple of minutes and we managed to get a very fortuitous goal. You create your own luck in football. And that's exactly what Wolves did last night. They created their own luck because they didn't have a lot of chances themselves, but the ones they had, they took. We were riding our luck for so long. I said it would run out eventually. I said after West Ham, our luck will run out eventually. I got told I was being negative. I got told to focus on the positive things. How can I focus on the positive things when I can see this kind of thing coming from a mile away? And guess what? It happened. It literally took place before our very eyes the very next game. It's crazy. It's crazy. Liverpool can make anyone look good. Liverpool's not the barometer, but Wolves always have a run in them. Never write them off, is what we're saying here. This is Liverpool Football Club, not Doncaster Rovers. Fair assessment. Big up Chronic Weed. Hope you're doing well, my bro. He says, every game we play from now on is a must win. The football we play is dire. This is what I don't get. How have we let this get this far? There's no improvement to our gameplay every week. Every so often, we'll show a little something. Every so often, we'll put in either a performance or a spell in a game where we actually look all right. But there's nothing consistent. There's nothing genuine about it. There's nothing to suggest that style of play or that good football is going to last. Like I say, we're relying on set pieces or individual moments of brilliance. And those individual moments of brilliance tend to only come from when opposition makes mistakes. Our goal last night came because the Wolves player makes a terrible pass across the face of his own goal, across the final third of, the first third. I can't even speak. It's a poor pass. It's a poor pass from the Wolves defender that picks out Salah. And Salah just basically runs at the defender. They don't pressure him. They don't stand up to him or anything. And with the way that Salah's been performing recently, I think if the Wolves defender that he's pinning back just steps up, he could probably take the ball right off his toes. Doesn't do that. It allows Salah to run in and have a shot on goal. And again, we rely on errors from the opposition to make us look good. We're 450 million deep. We're 450 million deep from the transfer window in the summer. And we are playing like this, relying on set pieces. We're relying on Dominic Szoboszlai worldies every week. We're relying on set pieces. We wanted to banter Arsenal earlier on in the season. We've become set piece FC. Nothing necessarily wrong with that. I've been saying all season, like, there's more than one way to win a football game. I'm not necessarily bothered whether we're set piece FC. I would just like us to be set piece FC and open play FC. I would like us to have both weapons in our arsenal. But we don't, because we can't play from open play. Because our open play just is knocking the ball about in our defensive third between Van Dijk, Konate, goalkeeper, right back, left back, centre backs, goalkeeper, and then going long eventually to one of Salah and Gakpo and hoping that one of them do something. If Florian Wirtz isn't in this team, our only outlet is our wingers who don't do anything. Salah, who will get doubled or tripled up on, so it makes him very much ineffective. And Gakpo, who every single time he gets the ball, cuts inside and delivers a cross that either doesn't beat the first man or a shot that ends up going in Rowe's head. There's no in between. There's no build-up play. There's no style. It's just the same predictable stuff over and over and over and over again. It really is that poor. United 6 points clear. It's atrocious, isn't it? It's absolutely atrocious. They probably will go 6 points clear. They probably will. So dumb. So dumb. Six point, that's between you two. Like I say, just try and keep it civil, guys. Try and keep it civil. Amazing, I think. I can't remember what it's in reference to. You'll have to remind me. My memory, not so good. Roughly around 85 million euros. Remind me again? Yeah, you have to remind me again. My memory's completely gone. My brain is fried. I'm good, lad. My trophy is beat you at Hill Dickinson Stadium and kill your season. Yeah, I mean that's basically what your season's been like for many years now. Many years. And here's the thing: you probably will beat us. Like, I don't want you to, of course not. But with the way that we're playing right now, Jesus Christ, anyone's got a chance of beating us right now. That's why I'm kind of glad we've got Wolves and we don't have a team like Mansfield or Wrexham that could actually cause some serious damage. Like, it's only Wolves, guys. It's only Wolves. That's why I'm scared. That's why I'm scared. Oh dear. Big up Abdul's in the building. Hope you're doing well, my bro. I'm good, man. I hope you are too. Other than obviously Liverpool letting me down, but I hope you're all good. I don't know enough about it to comment on Dubai, the situation over there, so we'll leave it there. Big up Lucky is in the building. Hope you're doing well, my bro. It says some of my friends asked me how are you expecting this team to win the Champions League, and I told him I don't expect or think we will win it. I hope we win it. The hope is going to make me delusional. Here's the thing. With the way that we've been playing in the Champions League, I have a lot more confidence going into that competition than the league. Also, as proof by a number of winners over the years, you don't necessarily need to be the best team to win it. You just maybe need to get a little bit lucky. You maybe just need to win the off game, turn up in the odd games when they matter most. I mean, you take 2005 as the prime example being Liverpool. 2005, Liverpool were not expected to make it to the final. Liverpool weren't expected to win the final. Liverpool certainly weren't expected to win the final with being 3-0 down at halftime. But guess what? Liverpool still managed to win the trophy at the end of the game. You don't need to be the best side. Look at Chelsea. In the 2 times that Chelsea have won it, would you say that Chelsea were the best team in Europe? No. Arguably not. They sacked their managers on both occasions. On both occasions, they brought in new managers. So, again, you don't necessarily expect it. It genuinely could happen. We could be sat here at the end of the season with 7 Champions Leagues, and that may sound laughable right now. And to be fair, it kind of is. But at the same time, in saying that, it could genuinely happen. There is a good chance. You would not rule us out. Now, do I think it will happen? No. No. Because Galatasaray will play in a way that maybe doesn't exactly play into our hands. And as we know, our manager is only looking good when teams play into his hands and play a style and a style of play that we basically go, oh, we actually like that style of play. Keep playing that because we can actually work against that and do it effectively. So, and even then, if we get past Galatasaray, we will then face one of Chelsea or PSG. And although I fancy our chances against Chelsea more so than PSG, and although PSG aren't exactly the same PSG as what they were last year, they're still PSG. And our manager still suffers with massive PTSD against PSG. So that's going to be shocking. And even if we get through that, we're going to be facing one of Man City, Real Madrid, or Bayern Munich. Sorry to discount Atalanta, but I highly doubt Atalanta are going to get there. But even if Atalanta do get there, Liverpool and Italian teams in Europe in recent years hasn't exactly gone down too well. So that still terrifies me, even if there is a slim chance that Atalanta get through to the semi-finals. But either way, Bayern Munich would absolutely destroy us. Real Madrid, probably not, considering recent times and the fact that Real Madrid have fallen off, but you still wouldn't back against them in knockout competition to turn up in those games. And Man City, well, Man City could be on for a very, very historic season this year. By that point, who knows what Man City could be fighting for? They could be on for a quad. So you wouldn't like to go against Man City. And even then, if we get to a final, God forbid if we get to the final, we're going to be meeting one of Barca or Arsenal. Again, not to discredit the rest of the teams in there, but Arsenal have got a very easy route to the semi-final at the very least. And Barcelona should be beating Newcastle. If you still watch Reluctant Gamer, I'm sorry, bro, but I don't think Newcastle are getting past Barcelona, unfortunately. I know that they're not as scary or as dominant as what they were last season, but still pretty strong. Barcelona are probably likely to get through to the semi-final to meet Arsenal. And then it's one of them two in the final against us. I don't know. I genuinely do not know. It's crazy. Not impossible, but still out there. We are a very inconsistent side this season. On one day we're good, next day we're rubbish. What is going on with Arne Slot, the board, players, and owners? Like I say, it's gross negligence from the owners at this point. Arne Slot is completely out of his depth. He's out of ideas, and the players, they seem to be just dropping by the second, whether it be through fatigue, whether it be through mentally not being in the right headspace, or whether it's they've just lost faith in the manager, so they're just downing tools. Whatever the case may be, everybody is to blame. But there's some of the blame that deserves to be placed more so on others than the rest. Every time I see Slot's interview, he always looks uncomfortable and out of his depth. Yeah, because things aren't going well for him. Last season, when things were going well, he's this kind of cool, calm, collected guy. Now that the pressure's showing, he's showing the pressure by his comments, which is why this season he's made so many stupid comments. It's why he can't wait to mention PSG at every opportunity. It's why he's throwing players under the bus when they don't deserve it. It's why he's constantly and consistently saying the most stupidest things that don't need to be said, some really unprovoked things. And it's why he's also exploiting our weaknesses and not addressing them on the pitch or on the training ground. It's crazy. We should never get another Dutch manager after Slot. I mean, we can't throw everybody under the same umbrella. Like, maybe there will be another Dutch manager out there that may actually be very, very good. And let's face it, it's not like he's terrible. He actually won us a Premier League title. It's not like he's terrible, but this season it's chalk and cheese, isn't it? Chalk and cheese to the Slot that won us a Premier League last season in comparison to the one that's managing this year. But anyway, hope you're doing well, bro. Lovely to have you here with us. Let's not make Galatasaray that hard, because if he loses both the FA Cup and Champions League and doesn't get top 5, he's getting fired. Should have been fired a long time ago. Should have been fired a long, long time ago. Could you imagine out of the Champions League and the Premier League by this time is it this time? Maybe a few weeks, but whatever. I was going to say this time in a few weeks. It's horrible to think about. Our season could be over in about a month's time. Even if we go out the FA Cup, go out the Champions League, and we're still fighting for top 4, season's over. Season's over, because we should not be in a top 4, top 5 race. We should have had higher. We should be higher. We should obviously be Premier League. We should be challenging for the Premier League. That's where we should be. But instead, our expectations have dropped because this manager has allowed our expectations to drop. Losses: Crystal Palace 3 times, Man City twice, Chelsea, Man United, Wolves, Brentford, Forest, Bournemouth, PSV, Galatasaray are all unacceptable. I say completely agree. 1 or 2 of them losses, you can maybe understand. But all of them, collectively, after spending so much money in the summer, unacceptable. You're right. Draws against Arsenal, Fulham, Leeds twice, Sunderland and Burnley are unacceptable. Again, spot on. Place filled with rich people avoiding all responsibility and accountability, completely detached from reality. I know what you're on about. Sack this head coach now. Again, preaching to the choir, bro. Sell Salah and Gakpo. We need better wingers. I mean, the fall off from Salah's crazy, but Gakpo is finished, bro. He's so finished. Like I say, I just don't understand what more Rio and Gamoa has to do. I really don't know what more Rio and Gamoa has to do. He came on last night. He forces an incredible save from the goalkeeper that hits the post, and he sets up Van Dijk's header. He's constantly and consistently doing more in 20, 25-minute cameo appearances than what Gakpo and Salah are doing combined in 60, 65. I don't know what more he has to do. I really, really don't. It's baffling to me. He's a player who decides to ignore Slot's instructions, which I like. Maybe that is the reason why Slot doesn't play him. I don't know, because he's actually someone who's willing to take on his opponent. He's someone who's willing to bring a bit of flair and a bit of excitement to the game. Maybe Slot is against excitement and flair. Maybe he's against a bit of skill. Maybe he's against a bit of, dribbling, a bit of determination. Maybe that's why he prefers Gakpo so much, because all Gakpo does is cut inside and shoot. Maybe that's what he wants. Maybe he doesn't want any of this skill and flair and excitement. Someone who can break low blocks. I was half expecting him to come out last night, Slot, and say, we struggled against another low block again. And I was like, well, you've got the tools on the bench to break down low blocks. You just decide not to use them. Atrocious. Absolutely atrocious. Canate may be just as bad, but he's not coming out in interviews talking shit like Van Dijk is. I'm sick of his face, if nothing else. Van Dijk's the captain, though. And here's the thing. To defend Van Dijk a little bit here, if Van Dijk wasn't doing that, everybody would be saying, why isn't Van Dijk saying anything? Why is Van Dijk hiding? Why is he cowering away when he needs to come out and speak? So Van Dijk can't win in that situation, bro, I'm afraid. I know, obviously, you want to go in on him or whatever, and I think for the money he's on, I think it's a little bit justified. I get it. But, like I say, if Van Dijk wasn't coming out and saying all this stuff consistently and constantly, and I know he's basically saying the same media-trained stuff that he's basically being told to say or whatever, that's the kind of reality of football and reality of footballers when they are going through this situation. You very rarely get organic truth. You basically get the generic media trained answers. I understand that. But if he wasn't doing this, everybody would be going, where's Van Dijk? Why isn't Van Dijk speaking out about this? How dare he? This is wrong. He should be coming out and saying something. Why is he cowering away? Why is he being this? Why is he being that? Van Dijk can't win, bro. And he's 35 next year. He can go. Not gonna get any better, is he? No, he's not. But I'd still say that all we've seen from Van Dijk this year is just him become human. We've been praising him so much these past several years for being this incredible defender, this absolute beast and a unit of a man who is seemingly insanely good. And he is insanely good. He is still a very good defender. But all we've seen from him this year is him become human. Not as insane as what he once was. Not as incredible as like last season, for example. Last season, he was the best defender on the planet, in my opinion. This year, same with Salah. He was probably the best wing on the planet. Well, Ballon d'Or says otherwise, but you know what I mean. The problem is that this year he's become human. Slot has somehow turned these aliens of Salah and Van Dijk human. And partially that is because, and it's not even part, and I think it is partially on Slot. Obviously, partially it's on life and getting older. But I just think partially it is on, it's on Slot too. I don't think he gives enough protection to the defense from how he sets up in midfield. And like I say, his idea of build-up play is just give the ball to Salah and hope for the best. I don't think he's protecting these players at all. To go completely in on Salah, to go completely in on Van Dijk, I think is somewhat a little unnecessary. If we don't inject pace on the wings on Friday, we will be out of the FA Cup. I'd like Frimpong right wing and Engamoa left wing. That could be cool. I always hesitate with Frimpong on the right wing. But I get where you're coming from. I just always hesitate a little bit with that. But you are right. But this is the thing I want to ask as well. You bring up a very good point. Does anybody actually think we're going to set up any differently on Friday? Does anyone actually think we're going to set up differently to a point where Slot's going to learn from his mistakes? Because he hasn't so far this season, so why would he start now? That's my biggest concern and problem. Does anyone actually think we're going to set up differently? Or do people think that it's going to basically be the same team he throws out there? Maybe with one or two exceptions. Maybe, for example, I don't know, maybe he goes with, I don't know, say Robertson left back, for example, instead of Kirkes. Maybe he goes Curtis Jones in the middle, except with McAllister making way or something along them lines. I don't know. Does anyone actually think he's gonna change it up, or is it gonna be the same old? Because I reckon it's gonna be the same. I reckon it's gonna be the same side. I really, really do. I reckon it's going to be the same side from back to front, with the exception of maybe it is going to be Robertson at left back. That's the only change that I can potentially see happening. Otherwise, Van Dijk, Canate at the heart of the defence, Frimpong right, Robertson left, Gravenberch, McAllister, Soboslai in the middle, Salah right, Gakpo left, Ekitike up front. Leave the football before the football leaves you. The football has left him. Mo Salah, the football has left him. Yeah, the infamous, not infamous, famous Jamie Carragher line. Liverpool aren't getting into the top four. We can't be getting rock bottom. We can't be getting beat by rock bottom of the table Wolves. We are playing them again. Yeah, you're 100% right. But that's the reality of the situation, I'm afraid. Mo Salah, who scored the only goal, lucky if the football was left with Salah, it never entered the rest of them. I'm saying we only got that goal because Wolves basically gifted it to us. Otherwise, we weren't scoring in that game. And then the one chance that we had, well, we did have to score. Cody Gakpo decides to take it off of Curtis Jones's chest. Forest are 11 points ahead of Wolves with 2 games in hand. This is true. But it is Forest. So, who knows? Liverpool always find a way to make things hard for themselves. Like, why do we always play down to our competition? Your guess is as good as mine, bro. Mentality issue at this club. I say, there's been a mentality issue growing for a while. I said it earlier on in the season. The mentality of this team can't handle the slightest thing going wrong for them right now. The slightest bit of adversary, and it's like, this team can't handle it. And it's proof by the fact that, as I mentioned earlier, for the 7th time this season, maybe even slightly more, for the 7th time at least this season, we have lost points in the final stages of the game. In injury time, we have lost points 7 times this season. Doing that occasionally, it happens. That's football. 7 times, though? Unacceptable. Completely unacceptable. I'm fine with the entire Dutch contingent leaving, save for Frimpong. I mean, yeah. I think Van Dijk can stay for me. I'm okay with Van Dijk. I think the thing with Van Dijk is, I think we obviously just need to take him out the firing line a little bit more. You know what I mean? Like, he'll be great to have around. It'll be great to learn from for the younger defenders that we've got. You know, when like Leone comes back, and when we get when Jacquet comes in the summer, like those two in particular are going to learn so much from him. So I think on and off the pitch, Van Dijk will be a massive influence. I just think the thing with Van Dijk is, if we are to play him, he needs more protection from the midfield, And B, I don't think he can play every game anymore. Which is why, again, I think we need to rotate him out. I'm happy for Van Dijk to stay, but yeah, Gakpo can go. Gravenberch, I think he's just played. I think Gravenberch has just played too much football. That's my thing with him. I think he's just played too much football that his legs are gone already. He played so much football last season, and he had the same problem last year around about this time where his performances dropped. And it seemingly happened again this time around as well. Where his performances have dropped about the same time, and it's not getting any better. Really not getting any better. But yeah, Frimpong can stay, and I'm happy for Van Dijk to stay. It's all good. They can all go. Gakpo, Gravenberch, Slot, and Van Dijk. Yeah, Slot can definitely go. It was a good shimmy. At least Salah scored. Can't say that for the rest of the... Yeah, he scored his first goal since the beginning of... His first Premier League goal since the beginning of November. I can't remember what the stat was now off the top of my head. I can't remember. But not good enough. And I know, obviously, he's been away with AFCON for a month. I get that. But even so, he has been back since the end of January. He was there for a while before he went away to AFCON. So, yeah, the beginning of December. Great. And the only reason why he got that goal, like I say, was because it was gifted to him on a plate. He was poor otherwise. Rosed, this guy's the guy is I think it was amazing. Oh, okay. I got you now. At this point, we're going to be in the Europa League. Yeah. Europa League. You guys remember earlier on in the season when Arne Slot mentioned something along the lines of when he walked in, he could only sign Chiesa, and the reason why was because they had just come out of a season in the Europa League, so money was awkward, or financials were awkward, something along them lines. Do you remember that? Do you remember reading that early on in the season? Because I do, and I remember saying then that this club are preparing us for Europa League football, aren't they? This club is preparing us for Europa League football, and they are preparing us for a summer that is not going to be the same as what it was last summer. That's what they're preparing us for. I said that then, and I still do, and I still think it could actually be the same now. And you are, with you saying that, bro, that's just made me remember it. I think you could be right. I still think that maybe Villa and Chelsea might still be there for the taking. I still think England get 5 Champions League spots as a minimum next season. But you're right. There could be a world in which we're back in the Europa League again. And that's not acceptable for us. Really, really not. No more Dutchies. Come on, bro. Come on. You're better than that. How many interviews with Sky Sports is Carrick averaging per month compared to Slot? I'm not bothered as long as they get results. I'm not bothered as long as he gets results. She ain't. Losing to what is arguably the worst Premier League team in history is the final straw for me. Big up, bro. Hope you're doing well. Lovely to have you here with us. Hope you are okay on this Wednesday morning, other than obviously Liverpool letting us down. I mean, he's not going to be sacked. That's the unfortunate thing about it. Until our season is completely dead in the water, like, he's not going to be sacked. Should have been sacked a long time ago if that was going to be the case. And the thing is that I actually would be wondering if it did transpire later on today. Let's say hypothetically that later on today we get the big breaking news from David Ornstein or whoever saying that Liverpool and Arne Slot have decided to part ways by mutual consent. You know, the typical kind of spiel you get rather than just outright saying sacked. My first thought wouldn't be, oh, this is interesting. Oh, this is exciting. My first thought would be, why the hell didn't this come earlier? Why didn't this come earlier? If I'm Van Dijk, I'm telling it like it is, not just being a puppet. Maybe. Like I say, people handle it differently, but you very rarely get that sort of behind the curtain look. You get the media trained answers, and some people will be like, in that situation, oh yeah, but I will say it how it is. And then if you ever did get in that situation, you might look at it and go, do I really want to throw teammates under the bus? Do I want to sound like I'm throwing people under the bus? Maybe not necessarily, especially if you're not playing well yourself. So maybe there is all those factors combined. That's maybe why Van Dijk isn't telling the entire truth, because we all know it. We all know it. We all see through it. We're not stupid. We all see through it. We all know it's not good enough, and we all see that these PR media trained dancers are not telling the entirety of the story. We all know that. But, you know, saying it how it is and protecting teammates or protecting people, you don't want to basic. I think in Van Dijk's case, you don't want to make the situation worse behind the scenes. I think that's probably where he's coming from with what he's basically saying. How many Premier League winning 35-year-old centre-backs has there been? Off the top of my head, I don't know. Off the top of my head, I've got no idea. But again, it is what it is. It is what it is. Like, Van Dijk is still a very, very good defender. He's just not, this season at least, he's just not as on that kind of pedestal that we've put him on over the past several years. Just not this year. That's it. That's all there is to it. I mean, once Van Dijk goes, I mean, I don't know what the contingency plan is. Like I say, I thought it was going to be Leone and obviously Jacquet's coming in. They're not even Van Dijk's level now. So I don't know, bro. I don't know. Van Dijk got shoved off the ball for that Wolves goal. It is a calamity of errors. Van Dijk is one of a number of calamity of errors. Like, error from him, miscommunication between him and Canate. Or both of the goals were just. This is the thing. Both goals that we conceded, preventable. When you look back, preventable. But again, it is what it is. Gakpo might be the first player to be washed at 28. No, I'm sure there are others. But he definitely is done for. I'll give you that. That's definitely true. I'd say more on FSG than Slot, actually. That might shock you, but let me explain why. FSG have let a 31-year-old player who's had a big injury be completely exposed in defense. 3 years, that's on the board. The analysts, the recruitment team, everyone. Fabinho left 3 years ago, and he was washed for his last season anyway. He's going to be in decline when you shag the legs off him for 3 years after 30. But last year, he was the best centre-back on the planet. He was the best centre-back on the planet last year. And he was playing with Gravenberch as the DM. And I think the Gravenberch experiment worked for that season. And I think partially it was because no one was really expecting Gravenberch to be a DM or be as good in DM as what he was. And then, like I say, for a combination of teams finding him out and maybe Gravenberch falling off with how many falling off a little bit, not playing as well and playing way too many minutes. Midfield just got more and more exposed and teams started to find us out very, very quickly. And yeah, like I say, the exposure's there. The exposure's there, not just for our midfield, but the exposure for our defenders is there as well. And you are right. He's played so many minutes. He's very rarely injured. He's obviously had that one big injury. But other than that one big injury that he picked up, because Jordan Pickford's a thug, yeah, apart from that, he's very rarely injured. He's very rarely had games out. So there is going to be natural fatigue there, and there is going to be the case of the natural human element of getting older and things like that. So I understand that point. I'm not saying he's completely done for. I'm not saying he's completely washed. I don't think he has been helped by the lack of recruitment in that area. I do think that they probably could have protected him a lot more, especially when you consider like when Konate first joined, Konate's injury issues weren't great. I would have liked to have hoped that the idea may have been to hope that Gomez and Konate's injury problems wouldn't be as frequent as what they were. So you could actually play Konate and Gomez together rather than just keep throwing Van Dijk out there week after week after week. But that never really happened. And again, partially on the board for not maybe reacting to it. But again, if you're anticipating or expecting this board to be proactive rather than reactive, then you're a fool. Because this board has never been proactive. This board has never identified growing concerns quickly and decided, oh, let's fix that whilst we can. They've gone, no, let's ignore it and leave it and wait for the problem to just grow and grow and grow and get worse. And then we'll solve it when it's at its most critical. This board don't do that. Remember a few years ago when we needed a centre-back because all our centre-backs were like completely just done for? Van Dijk went down injured. Gomez was injured. Matip was injured. Our standing centre-backs of Henderson and Fabinho got injured. We were forced into playing Nat Phillips. We were forced into playing Reece Williams. We signed Ben Davies, who didn't make a competitive start for us. We also got Ozan Kabak on loan. You would have thought we would have learnt from that this year or in any other year. Again, we don't. We had Mark Gahey there in the palm of our hands and we let it slip. And now look at what he's doing at Man City. Took to it like a duck to water. I'm not expecting this board. I don't expect anything from this board anymore. I really, really don't. Because again, we're not proactive. If we were proactive, we would have sacked Slot a long time ago. We would have sacked Slot a long, long time ago. But they don't. They stick with him. They stick with players. They have loyalty to certain players. That's why when Fabinho and Henderson's legs absolutely ran away with them, we decided to stick with them. Under the direction, by the way, of Klopp. One of the few things Klopp got wrong. But, yeah. When those legs went, our midfield went. Not through lack of trying, but through the intensity that we were playing with for seasons upon seasons upon seasons. Not good enough. I know this sounds bad, but I really can't look forward to Friday because last night's game was a must-win and we blew it. I don't care what we do on Friday. I mean, I hope we go through. I'm praying we go through. But you are right. I've got very little hope going into that game. You are 100% right on that, bro. Espen, hope I'm pronouncing that name right. I do apologize if not. Big up to you, my bro. Says glory, glory. I'm sure rival fans are very happy this morning. A goal was a goal, man. The point would have been bad, but not awful. We couldn't even hold on to that. Yeah, we again, same way that we haven't held on to leads or we haven't held on to draws for most of this season. We couldn't hold on to a draw against Bournemouth. We lost that in the dying stages of the game. We couldn't hold on to a win against Fulham. We drew that in the dying stages of the game. Yeah. It's what it is. But it doesn't take away from the fact that our best chance of hurting opposition, our best chance of getting goals and winning games comes through set pieces or the reliance that other teams will make mistakes. And that's not good enough for a team like us. It's not good enough for a team that are the defending Premier League champions. It's not good enough for a team that has spent 450 million in the summer transfer window, in one summer transfer window. Not good enough. Good morning, Fletch. Yesterday was so disappointing. Big up Ballum, who's in the building. Lovely to have you here, bro. Thank you for being here. Hope you're doing well, other than Liverpool, of course, letting us down. We had Wolverhampton on Friday night too. Yeah, big FA Cup game. Even more pressure riding on that game after the events of yesterday. Yes, England should have five spots in the Champions League. Yeah, we probably should, right? With the amount of teams we've got in Europe across all three competitions, we really should. Big up Jones is in the building, says that we ain't winning shit. And to be fair to you, bro, I kind of agree with you, but it's the hope that kills you. It's the hope that kills you. Slot should have gone after the United defeat. I agree. I echo those. I echo those exact thoughts. Do you think Wolves will do Great Escape? I expect no. I hope they do. I really, really hope they do. Like I say, we've looked at their games earlier in the stream, and they're actually winnable games for Wolves. They're actually winnable games. Now, maybe they have left it a little too late, but if they can pick up some good points, some good wins in the next few games, there is no telling what could be possible for Wolves this season. Within reason. Survival. You know what I mean? I'm not... Sorry, bro. You're going to have to remind me what that's in reference to. Sorry. Wolverhampton again Friday night. So, no rest. How many changes do you make? Like I say, I make a fair few, to be fair. I make a fair few. I think maybe trust Mamadashvili. I would say drop Gravenberch, drop Gakpo. I'd like to see us go 4-4-2. I'd like to see. I'd say go Rio and Gamoa left, Soboslai and McAllister through the middle, or 4-2-2-2, and go Chiesa and Ekatike up front. Why not? Why not throw some caution to the wind and actually some excitement in this game? But he never would. He never would. Excitement is not a word in Arnie Slot's vocabulary. I've come to realize that this season. Try to cheer me up, Fletch. What is a positive other than weather in England today? What is a positive? What is a positive? Well, we can't get relegated. Is that positive enough for you, bro? I don't know. I've got nothing. At best, we get fifth, which is disgraceful. But even if we do, Slot should still walk. As I say, mate, the only way that Slot keeps his job is if he wins the Champions League for me. If he wins the Champions League, that's the only way he keeps his job. Otherwise, gone. It's the only way. The only way he goes. I was playing it down with Salah because Ramadan and etc. He did score yesterday. I expect no Van Dijk on Friday, no Gakpo, no on Friday. Why? Gakpo's first name on the team sheet, bro. Gakpo is first name on the team sheet. Gakpo's first name on the team sheet. We've got no other centre backs to accommodate for dropping one of them, so there's no point in saying that. It is what it is. You couldn't make it worse. It doesn't get any worse. True. Did you hear Liverpool French centre back is injured, shoulder? Yeah, I mean, we can't catch a break whether we've got them or not. But I think he's just out for the rest of the season, so he should hopefully be okay. Otherwise, but it's unfortunate for the guy. It's unfortunate for the guy. So it's unfortunate for his club as well. To say that obviously we signed him on deadline day. We had to negotiate the whole thing to obviously keep him at Rennes to the end of the season, and then basically him then get injured in the following game. It was like couldn't catch a break. Not Canate, one on loan in Madonna. Yeah, I know it. Yeah, it needs an operation. Yeah, it's very true. Friday night watch along or not this? No. Friday night watch along this week. No FA Cup watch along, unfortunately. Should that shove on Van Dijk have been called a foul? Look, there were a couple of things last night. I didn't want to mention any refereeing decisions or anything, because I don't want to make it sound like I'm making excuses. But seeing as you bring up a particular incident, look. There are a couple of incidents last night that went against Liverpool. They're not the be-all and end-all reason as to why we lost, but if you are looking for consistency from referees, then once again, you got another display of consistency, consistently inconsistent. I thought the penalty for the handball, I thought that was a handball. It's strange that these aren't being given no more, because I did a video on the weekend's VAR calls, and there were like 3 handballs that should have been given that weren't. There was the one in the City game, there was the one in the Arsenal-Chelsea game, and there was another one in the Man United game. All 3 were not given, where they probably should have or could have definitely been given. There was a foul on Szoboszlai, I believe, in the build-up to the second goal, I think, that wasn't given for Wolves. There was a foul in the middle of the pitch on Szoboszlai, wasn't given. It was a poor display from the referee, but don't let it fool you. Like, that's not the reason we lost. We lost because Liverpool were crap. We lost because Slot's tactics were shocking. His setup, his style of play is abysmal. It was all to do with Liverpool, not the referee. The referee didn't cover himself in much glory, but that's not the reason as to why we lost. I have to really express that that's the case, because I get rival fans saying, why are you using the referee as an excuse? I'm not. You can have 2 different conversations. The referee can be bad, but Liverpool can just be even worse in their performance, and therefore deserve to have lost the game. You can never rely on hope. It's hope for a reason. Like I say, my hope runs on the belief of Istanbul 20 odd years ago. And I know that may sound strange and delusional, but that's where it all stemmed from me. That's where that true belief all stemmed from me. So I have hope, but let's be real. Let's be realistic about it. Winning the Champions League this season, I'd probably give us a 10% chance. 10% chance. Maybe even slightly less. From behind the foul. Yep. Semenyo as well. He was waiting for a call that never came before he went to City. But possibly. I don't think we'll ever know the full story. But yeah, there was potential there for Semenyo to come to Liverpool. I was wanting Semenyo last summer. That never happened. We missed the boat completely. Ben Davies was a very strange one. Poor kid, never played. Yes, we sold him for a profit. Surprisingly, Ben never played and will be a quiz question for fans for naming an outfield player who never played for the club. Yeah, I know where you're coming from. Yesterday was a damaging defeat for the UCL. Yeah, like I say, the only saving grace is that Chelsea and Aston Villa play each other. That's the only thing that saved us. Only thing that saved us this week. But even so, it's still a terrible result. It's still so poor. And it's a massively missed opportunity that Liverpool have gone and missed yet again. He said I'm better than... Oh, okay. Okay, fair enough. You can say it, I can't. You can say it, I can't. I can say you... I can say you're better than that and try and hope for the best, but... Whichever. Whatever way you want to look at it. Just under 2 hours of ranting about how poor we are. I miss the streams of last year where we were happy. I miss the streams of last year where we're waxing lyrical. Talking about being Premier League champions and how the future looks bright. God, I miss them days. Anyone got a time machine? Anybody at all got a time machine? We can go back to last year. Anybody at all? No? All right. Fine, fair enough. Oh, dear. Oh, dear. Look, we know he's not being sacked. We know for a fact he's not going to get sacked. Not until everything's done and dusted as far as our season goes. I don't even know. I don't even know how to wrap this all up. I really, really don't. We know he's not going to be sacked. We know that this is a terrible, terrible situation. It's a horrible day. An absolute horrible, horrible day. Yeah. Nothing more to say. The good thing is that we get 2 days where we don't have to watch Liverpool again. And on the third day, we get to watch Liverpool again. Hooray! So not happy. So not happy. Ugh. Only a couple more days and we get to watch this all over again. And like I say, I don't think he's going to make changes. I don't think there's going to be much change to the way that we approach the game on Friday. Even if it isn't a different competition, I think it's going to be very similar. Same approach, same players. Go out there again. Because it has been all season. So again, why would it change now? Why would it change now? But yeah, there's a strong possibility we'll be out of the FA Cup this week. And I'm worried. Really, really worried. But it's the way it goes sometimes. Look, we've been ranting and raving for 2 hours now. It's time to leave it there and wrap it up there. Thank you all so much for watching and for listening. You guys are absolutely awesome. Even the rivals that came in just to banter a little bit. I appreciate each and every single one of you for the love and support on the channel. Do me a massive favor though, on your way out, if you haven't already, please like the video and subscribe if you are new. Both things will always and probably greatly appreciated. Leave your thoughts, your comments, opinions, predictions, feelings, whatever you want to call it, down below in the comment section. Really do appreciate each and every single one of you for taking time out of your busy schedules to hear the ramblings and ranting and raving of this guy. So thank you all so much for that. I'm worn out. Yeah, me too, bro. You and me both. You and me both. And it's not just about today or last night. It's about the entire season that has played out before our very eyes. Thanks. Thank you. Thank you, bro. Always helps having an audience. Always helps having an audience. And you guys have been awesome in the chat today. So really do appreciate each and every single one of you for coming along, showing some support and love to the channel. Really do appreciate all of that and much more. You guys are absolutely awesome. Thank you all so much for watching and for listening. I've been Fletch. This has been another Fletch Talks video. And I'll see you speak to you all again soon in a video or live stream or whatever it may be. Cheers, guys. Thanks, everyone, for watching. Take care of yourselves. Enjoy the rest of your day. Speak to you all again very, very soon.